Western world's mindset comes from two players, two people, primarily. Rupert Murdoch and Thomas Glocer, CEO of Reuters News Service. Reuters is a board of directors of the Merck Pharmaceutical Company. Wow, what? Are you kidding me? So all of the propaganda we're getting about vaccines being, quote, safe and effective are being put out there by people who have conflicting special interests? Excuse me, but yet there's this whole other manipulation of the media and the mass mind control wherein we're now sublimated, subjugated to this whole conspiracy of being dumbed down. And what's the trigger? The trigger is the media. The trigger is basically mass mind control for cultural indoctrination is through mainstream media. And when you basically do what you're doing right now through We the People, the internet, and you make Senator Jay Rockefeller uncomfortable for the truth being spoken, and we the people are tuning out of the Murdoch News Corps monopoly and the Thomas Glocer Reuters News Service serving the Merck Pharmaceutical Company as executive director of Merck to give us propaganda so we'll get injected, infected, intoxicated, and depopulated. Essentially now we wake up, and that's what they're afraid of. That's why Jay Rockefeller wants to terminate the internet. His wife, interestingly enough, is on PepsiCo. Fully, complete mind controlled, manipulated, and dumbed down to the max so that we would never rise up, because if we rose up with supreme power of intelligence, everything that you're witnessing out here, all the structures, the squares, there's nothing in the universe that's square. Nothing, except a stupid human being's, mind. Everything is circular, it's round, and everything's sacred geometry, essentially. It's all sourcing from sacred geometry.
But doesn't your DNA also vibrate on the 528 frequency?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Everything is. That's the main clear channel broadcast. The greatest truth is that it's the Love 528 frequency channel that brings us life, that sustains us right here, right now. That's what electrogenetics is really all about.
Can you explain the 512 thing?
528.
Oh, 528?
Yeah. 528. You know how prayer works?
Power of intention.
It's a power of loving intention to create a miracle. But then what's the technology? That's the method. But what's the actual technology of that? It's the same technology that created us. Everything in the universe was created with love. And the heart of the entire universe, the entire electromagnetic color spectrum, the heart of the sound spectrum, what's called the musical mathematical matrix that the physicists basically understand mathematically, represents the fundamental frequency resonance of the quantum field. But that is, at the center of that is 528 love. So what does that mean? It means that the Creator created from the heart, just like we create from loving, heart-filled, loving intention, miracles in prayer for healing. What you're feeling is what's been missing from our culture. It's in the process of cutting us off from that heartfelt love and that power of spirituality that we all radiate. That's a heart communication. Now, what happens when you are tuning your radio? Say you're grooving to 99.6, right? And you tune to 99.7. You lose the clear channel broadcast. It turns to static. When you're tuned to A440 standard tuning, which was instituted in the 1930s by the Rockefellers funding the American Musicians Union, and that went nowhere, and so they gave that project over to the Nazi propagandist Goebbels.
It makes so much sense, like how in Western culture we're so like intellectualized. We're like soulless.
Exactly.
That's where we're.
So here's what happens. So when you play music in A440, it stimulates from here up. So it's all egoic stimulation, right? So, but it suppresses from here down. And the communion, the divine human communion, the human source of miracle making is from the heart, loving intention. Tesla knew that. Tesla prayed with every instrument he ever developed. Before he started to develop his technologies, he would pray for the guidance of development, and then before he turned them on, he would pray that they worked. And half the times that he failed to pray over the technologies, they didn't work. What's spirituality? Frequency, resonance, energy. That's who we really are. But we're indoctrinated into popping magic pills to cure every ill. We think of ourselves as physical beings first, and we chemically pollute ourselves and everything else because we're literally cut off from the greatest truth that shall set us free. The greatest truth is you're a spiritual being. So that's what they did intentionally. Just like English, right now I'm speaking the most spiritually suppressive language that's ever been invented in the history of this planet. That's the New World language for the New World Order of indoctrinated slaves. The reality is, when you look at science and you look at the revelations we now have in mathematics and physics and music, and this whole concept of hydrosonics being creative. You've got genetics that basically is a spiral because it's a Tesla coil. It's an energy receiver and amplifier. And all the Rockefeller hogwash about what DNA is, that it's a DNA protein synthesis template, that's 3% of the function. So, you know, you can thank your parents 3% of you being here right now. And you can thank your parents maybe 3% for having brown eyes right now. But you can thank God right now, 94% of you manifesting right here instant to instant is because you're being vibrated hydrosonically. But the reality is that we are created and sustained hydrosonically from love. And when you're in that, they can't get you. It's, yea, though we walk through this valley in the shadow of death, we shall fear no evil. Because evil can't get you when you're in the light. Let there be light. That eliminates the darkness. The darkness cannot stand the light. It runs. It can't come up against it. And it's a satanic manipulative system that we've exposed to genocidalists.
Yeah.
And so now that we again shed the light into the darkness, we expose the genocidalists for who they are. Suddenly now, you've got a flashlight shining into the dark room. You didn't know Rupert Murdoch and News Corp was the place his family ran the vaccine testing facilities in Australia for the pregnant women, for the children, for the infants. What? Are you kidding me? Rupert Murdoch's family did that? Holy smoke, what a revelation that is.